several individuals who have been a very important part of the journey that we're on today. And it has led us to today's celebration. But before I get into hearing from the many esteemed speakers that we have, I want to take a moment to really reflect and pay homage to a gentleman who, as an African-American developer, founded Columbia Residential, the housing authority's partner on this particular project. 3 decades ago, and he gained a reputation as a trailblazer for high-quality projects, most notably affordable housing. Noel was a visionary individual who passed away last year. He never wavered on the vision and commitment to providing high-quality affordable housing. And I can't say on the times that I had the opportunity of speaking with him how much I cherished just being in his presence and always learning something new. Truly an inspiration to us, and again I say we miss him. I want to thank the team from Columbia Residential in ensuring that Noel's vision is ever present at 2100 Memorial. And I believe we'll just call it the Noel way. Now we're going to hear from someone who needs, of course, no real introduction. He's been elected in his second term as mayor, the 62nd mayor of the most diverse city in the United States. I can honestly say about this individual that he is as passionate about our city and has expertly managed significant challenges that we face here in Houston. I want to also say that while mayor, he has really placed a particular attention on housing affordability and has allowed us as the Houston Housing Authority to be a part and play a critical part in that. It has remained a resilient and Houston strong effort. Please join me in welcoming our mayor, Sylvester Turner.
Thank you so very much, and let me thank Lawrence Snowden for his leadership. Let me thank the chairman of the board of the Houston Housing Authority, the commissioners who are part, who have given their time and dedicated themselves to the Housing Authority. And certainly let me just acknowledge the Director Bynum and the whole team of the Houston Housing Authority. We certainly appreciate all of them. Columbia Residential, let me thank all of our partners, everybody that's affiliated with this project. Let me just thank you. And then also want to say that we're honored to have HUD's Deputy Administrator for Region 6, Leslie Bradley, who's here with us this morning at 2100 Memorial. Please give it up to Leslie Bradley. Thank you for being here. And I believe that Councilmember Cisneros is still out of town, because I know she's been out of town for the last several days. But I do want to acknowledge her. We are in District H, Councilmember Carla Cisneros. So please give it up to her even in her absence. You know, nearly 5 years ago, Hurricane Harvey devastated our area. More than 208,000 households were directly impacted by the storm, and it is no exaggeration to say that everyone in Houston has lived with the effects of Hurricane Harvey. But what I will say to the Deputy Administrator, Leslie Bradley, 52 inches of rain fell on the city. More rain fell on this city than any other city on North America. And I don't care where you live, which part of town you live. Everyone was impacted by Hurricane Harvey. It fell on everyone. It pulled everyone together. And so this occasion, in large part, is highly significant because it points again to the resilience of this community and the resilience of our city. Approximately half of the impacted households were low and moderate income, incurring an estimated damage of $5.2 billion. We have seen time and again that when we face these shocks and stressors, it is the poor, the elderly, and those with disabilities who feel the effects of everyone. Because they end up they're in a constant state of need and recovery, need and recovery, need and recovery. So when 2100 Memorial was overcome by 5 feet of water, hundreds of seniors, residents lost their place they called home. And 2100 Memorial was their home. And even though it was significantly and substantially damaged, because it was their home, so many of these seniors were very reluctant to leave their home. They wanted to stay. They fought to stay. They filed lawsuits to stay because it was their home. And all of us, we understand how important that is and how you become very attached. The reality was, though, in order to fix their home, repair their home, rebuild their home, we needed them to temporarily step aside in order for their home to rebuild. I kind of personally understand that because my mom, my dad lived in a house for 60 years. And when their children, when we decided that we wanted to repair the home, my mom, after my dad died, we said, Mom, we want to repair the home. We want to make it much, much better for you. My mom said, fine, as long as you can do it while I'm still here. And she said, I'm not leaving. We said, well, we can't repair it unless you leave. She said, I'm not going. And so we attempted to do that. We put her on one side of the house, told the contractors to build on the other side. But that did not work. And so eventually we had to go to her and say, look, if you want it done, you're just going to have to temporarily leave. That was the hardest part to get her to understand. But the goal, the bright part, was when she came back to her improved, substantially improved home. That's when you saw the light in her eyes. That is our hope for all of the seniors who were once at 2100 Memorial, that when everything is said and done, if they choose to come back, they will see that their home has been substantially improved. But 2022 marks a new chapter for 2100 Memorial and those who live here. Earlier this year, the building was demolished and the reconstruction of the subterranean drainage system began. We are building this community to ensure public safety. During the storm, due to the flood waters, there was no access points for emergency vehicles. In fact, this part, which is just above the 100-year floodplain, served as the closest spot. The new construction will be 2 feet above the 500-year floodplain. The geopier installation will treat the soil before the foundation is installed so that it will be stronger and better prepared for rising waters. This development will truly be a place where seniors of mixed income can live without worrying that flood waters will engulf their homes. The goal is to build a new home, more resilient, more sustainable, and much, much stronger. Residents who live here before Harvey will have the first, and let me repeat that, residents who live here before Harvey will have the first opportunity to return here when everything is complete. The city proudly contributed $25 million in CDBG DR17 funds to the reconstruction of this community. This endeavor could not have happened without the assistance of our federal government counterparts, and we want to say thank you. Give it up to our federal government. Give it thanks for their support. And even though our congressional leaders are not here, please give it up to our congressional leaders, Sylvia Garcia, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Al Green, and all of the others. HUD has been instrumental in our city's recovery, not to its pre-Harvey state. We're not trying to build back to where we were. We're trying to build forward and put people in a better place, but to a more resilient, sustainable, and affordable state where all Houstonians, no matter their age, have the opportunity to live not only in places where they can afford, but places where they can thrive. As I close, I want to thank our partners that made this day possible. APV Redevelopment Corporation, a subsidiary of the Houston Housing Authority, Columbia Residential and Creekstone Companies, FEMA, the lenders, and of course, our housing and community development staff. I want to thank Director Bynum and all of the individuals affiliated with the Houston Housing Department. Where if you're with the Houston Housing Department, HUD as well as Houston Housing, just raise your hand. Let me just see you. Let me thank all of you. My goal was for this development to be built by December 31st of 2023. They're saying a little less than 2 years. But if it's substantially completed by December 31st of 2023, we're going to cut the doggone ribbon anyway. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Turner. And Mayor Turner, I don't know if you recall, but I recall receiving a call from you while I was in Washington, D.C. after the storm. And his comment to me was, Lorenz, you can't put our seniors out on the street. We made that commitment then that we would not do that. We did all we could to make sure we moved them safely to other housing choices. We always appreciate what the mayor and what the city does in support of our projects, especially this project. We're also honored to have with us as a representative on behalf of HUD, Secretary Marsha Fudge, the Deputy Regional Administrator, Region 6, Leslie Bradley. In her 33 years at HUD, the Deputy Administrator Bradley currently assists the Regional Administrator in managing HUD's programs in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, New Mexico, and Louisiana. Please join me in welcoming Deputy Administrator Bradley.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. A little shorter here. Yes, good morning. Thank you, Lorenz, for that introduction. And Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for those words. And please know that HUD does appreciate the many partnerships with the City of Houston. So whether it's affordable housing, homelessness, or leading the way on lead issues, HUD knows that the City of Houston is there on the job, doing the hard work every day to improve the lives of its citizens. As was said, I am Leslie Bradley, and I am the Deputy Regional Administrator for the Southwest, covering Texas and the 4 states that surround it. I wish that Secretary Fudge could join us here today to see this wonderful event here, but her schedule did not allow for it, and so I'm happy to be here for the celebration with you all today. Especially on a day as this, where we are breaking ground on a major housing asset that will serve Houston for decades to come. I'd like to recognize, in addition to Mayor Turner, of course, Lorenz Snowden, the board chair of the Houston Housing Authority, Stephanie Ballard, also of the Houston Housing Authority Board, Carmen Chubb of Columbia Residential, and I'm just meeting all these people for the first time, but know that we've got our Houston Field Office staff here as well, who probably work hand in hand with many of you. And so I did want to recognize our Public Housing Director, Lorraine Walls, who's in the room, in the outside room. You know, it's like sometimes I say the virtual room if we're on Teams, or the outside room if we're here at a groundbreaking. Let me also recognize Keith Bynum of the Houston Housing Authority, Housing and Community Development. And of course, David Northern, President and CEO of the Houston Housing Authority. Thank you all for being here. Also the general contractor, Block Companies, for their effort. I noticed their sign earlier, so that helped me know I was finding the right place. Coming from Fort Worth, you know, I had to kind of read the signs, so thank you for that. And so all these people and organizations played a crucial role in bringing us here today, and what a result. So 2100 Memorial has been around for a long time, and this truck is honking because, yes, let's honk about it. It's great. It's great. This journey began in 2017 with Hurricane Harvey, as Mayor mentioned earlier. That storm devastated this property like so many others in the Houston area. But the city, the Housing Authority, and their partners knew that wasn't the end of the road. They saw a vision of 2100 Memorial as it could be. a thriving mixed-income community housing asset that would bring both affordable units and also pride to Houston. They saw modern amenities and resources for residents in a property for the 21st century with nearly 200 units of housing. And with a little help, they are making it happen. HUD was happy to support with $25 million in federal disaster funding and with funding the 39 project-based vouchers that are going to be attached to this property. They've also got 138 tax credit units through the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program, which means their rents are reduced, with the remaining units being market-based. It wasn't easy for the city to bring that all together, but they did make it happen, and they are building, and the city of Houston will be better for it. 2100 Memorial will be modern, viable, affordable housing for the city of Houston. And HUD commends you all for those who need housing and those who need it the most. Houston is the nation's 4th largest city, and so what happens here matters nationally. It's an example that you've shown us with 2100 Memorial that this place will shine, and I've got no doubt on the lives of its tenants, the community, and the city. In doing so, I hope that it will let the city of Houston serve as an example of what is possible with developing affordable housing nationwide. And once again, it's wonderful to join you all here today. It's great to share, so let's keep moving, and thank you so much again. Great work.
Thank you so much, Deputy Administrator Craft, for joining us here today. We're now going to hear from our outstanding partner on this project. Carmen Chubb joined Columbia Residential as the president in March of this year. She possesses a strong track record of leadership and exemplary career in public service, as well as a passion for quality, affordable housing. Most recently, Carmen served as the chief of staff for former mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms. The mayor's over there clapping because that's one of his friends. And prior to that, she served as the Deputy Commissioner of Housing at the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Columbia Residential's President, Carmen Chubb.
Well, good morning, everyone. I think it is a beautiful day for groundbreaking. Coming from Atlanta, it was a little warm, so I was prepared for the heat, but it turned out to be a beautiful morning. Mayor Turner, thank you very much. Mayor Bottoms always wants to exhort that Mayor Turner is her favorite mayor, so you all have the best here in Houston. Chairman Snowden, CEO Northern, Commissioner Ballard, Director Bynum, and Deputy Administrator Bradley, thank you all for your support in helping us get to this moment. I bring you greetings on behalf of our company, Columbia Residential. Today is a special day because it marks a pivotal point in the renaissance of 2100 Memorial, the point between preparing the land and erecting the buildings. It is important to mark this time of transition because it signifies the delivery of the promises made to the residents of 2100 Memorial. The promise of beautiful, high-quality homes that are built to modern standards for accessibility, energy efficiency, stormwater management, and elevation above the floodplain. As the buildings are erected, it will be a visual reminder to all the promises made to the residents that they can return to their homes. Getting to this point is the result of a tremendous amount of hard work from many partners. And as the company that's doing the development, I think it's fair to say that there's no way we could be here without those partners. So I do want to acknowledge them today. The City of Houston, Mayor Turner, and your staff, Ray Miller, the Director of Housing and Community Development, Ryan Bibbs, Daniel Pinto, all from the Office of Community Development, along with Director Bynum, Wells Fargo, the construction lender, Michael Mara and Carolyn Cruz, Citibank, our permanent lender, Mahesh Ayers and Adam Hurwitz, NEF, the tax credit equity investor Jason Aldridge and Bo Sindstrom. Our contractor, Block Construction, Jason Keller, President. Our partners, certainly the Houston Housing Authority CEO, Northern, Mike Rogers and Jay Mason. Creekstone, Stephen Keller. Waterman Steel Consulting, Alicia Green and Lance Gillum. JHP Architecture and Urban Design, Ron Harwick, John Schrader, and Davey Payne. Kimley Horn Engineering, Bob Leonardis. I also want to thank the Columbia team, who has been on the ground from the very beginning, making sure all the pieces are put together and that we can make it to this moment. And Ray Kunansky, our Chief Development Officer. Ray, if you will raise your hand. Ray is low-key, but he has been a tremendous force here at the development, as well as our construction management team, Robert Barfield and Kenny Hughes. And I want to acknowledge our CEO, Jim Growley, who sends his regards for this celebration. I want to join Chairman Snowden to honor Columbia's founder, Noel Khalil, whose vision for our company is that everyone deserves to live in clean, safe housing that is built to the highest standards for quality and sustainability. That is what the Columbia Way is all about. And we will continue his legacy here at this senior living community and beyond. And most importantly, before I close, I want to thank the residents for their input on the community, for their patience in the development process, and thank everyone for being here today. I look forward to seeing you and just hopefully before December 31st, 2023 to celebrate the ribbon cutting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carmen. And let me also say a special thank you to Ray Kunansky and the entire Columbia team for their unwavering support of this project. I can recall the conversations and the Zoom calls that I've been on with you all as I was pushing, and Ray would always come back with the analytical approach to what we can and cannot do with race. But I wanted to make sure that we were pushing the envelope